Okay, hello
Yeah.
everyone, welcome. And to our Spiritism at Noon. We are currently studying the book Empty Lives by the Spirit Joanna de Angelis, psychographed by the medium Divaldo Franco. And we are studying chapter 15. We are currently at the middle of the book, and as always, we like to remind everyone that each chapter is a different topic, a different subject. So if you was not with us for the previous ones, there is no problem. It's just we'll get the new subject almost every week, because in fact, the one that we are going to be studying today, chapter 15, is Spirit Interventions. We are dividing it in two parts. We already did the first part because it's a very complex subject, and one that is very important for us all, because we have to start thinking about what are we attracting with our minds, with our behaviors, and how we are in control or not of every decision we take. So at the beginning, Joanna de Angelis talks about the presence of spirits, and how in both ways spirits may impact us. Of course, for those who are new to the subject, we would like to remind you that in Spiritism, we do believe, like in many other religions and philosophy, that we are immortal spirits. And being immortal spirits, once we leave our physical body behind, our spirit continues surviving. The difference between some of these thoughts or philosophies and religions is that in Spiritism, we do believe that we are not just going to remain as spirits until, let's say, a judgment day or something else, but that we will be having new opportunities to come back and to continue our process of learning, very much like when we go to school. We start in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. We have a period of vacation, right, to regain our energy, prepare for the new challenge, more mature, and we come back to school, which is our planet Earth. But in the meantime, while we remain in the spirit realm, we continue being exactly what we were. Of course, we may have a different view, because now the majority of spirits may understand that there is more to it than just the physical life. Some of them, unfortunately, they continue oblivious to the new situation, but the majority of us will take notice that we no longer belong to the world of the living, right? But it doesn't mean that we cannot participate in the world of the living. And this is what many spirits are going to do. Some of them assigned by God, by our creator, by our benefactors, to come to help us, to protect us, to inspire us, good thoughts, good decisions, and others not so much. They find in us inclinations that they normally had themselves, and they will find a way to be able to continue enjoying those inclinations through us, through people. And this is where spirit intervention, spiritual influence, or what we call even obsession, is referring to, because many times we may be doing things that is not necessarily what we want, but what our spiritual companions may want. And this is the alert by Joanna de Angelis when she says there is a large number of spirits that or incarnates that will keep their mental wave in lower levels, and as so we are going to connect with the lower level spirits. Sorry. Okay. Some of the things that can contribute for this connection with lower level spirits is pessimistic thoughts, unethical behaviors. So all of those things are going to make us more vulnerable to negative influence. Any question or comment so far? Okay. So we stop it here. So let's start reading this part of the book. Since many spirits are highly dependent on the animal energies of human beings, when the latter begin to awaken to reality and initiate attempts at liberation, they are attacked and victimized even more than before. So how is that spirits can, satisfy their wings through us? Since they no longer have this vital energy that pertains to the physicality, to our corporeal body, right? They cannot necessarily enjoy things like we do. It's like, I was just remembering that during the time of COVID, many people said that they lost the taste, the smell, right? So let's say they are spirits that want to eat, but they have lost their taste. So they eat, but it's not the same thing. And so in order to kind of having a bit of that, they try to utilize the energy, the vitality of those that are incarnate to leave the sensation again. And I don't know what it is, what it takes to eat a burger or something, so this is what happened. And but as soon as we change our ways, we began to be more resistant and more aware of the situation. They will no longer be able to drain from us what they require, and they will have to move. They will have to, amend themselves or look for another source of energy that will no longer be us. Question? Comment? Actual techniques are used by the spiritually infirm who linger in the human psychosphere to inspire disturbing, perverse, unhealthy, and foolish ideas, which facilitate the continuation of the morbid exchange. Jesus' recommendation, watch and pray, extend to these kinds of ills as the preventive therapy. I always find it fascinating when we look at Jesus' teachings with a view of the 21st century. And having this knowledge and understanding that we have now, which is still not much, but it's something already, of the spirit realm and the spirituality and spirits and all that. So instead of thinking that Jesus was just saying, for us to be, devout and be on our knees all the times, watching and praying in this, more religious sense, he was working as a psychotherapist of behavioral psychotherapist, because he's telling us, meditate, contemplate your actions, and pray in the sense that protect yourself against these thoughts, this way of behaving, this kind of energy that is going to attract negativity to you. So this is watch and pray. Self-awareness. Pray is the work, is the, putting ourselves to our inner transformation. So we have a completely different take now, understanding this recommendation in relation to everything, not only the spirits, but also in our day-to-day relationship. Pay more attention to what we are doing, to what we are saying, to how we are communicating with people, to how sometimes we are or not, killing their dreams, their hopes. Sometimes, just because our way of thinking, or because we have lived more, or have more experience, we kill the dreams of young people. Oh, in my time, we also wish that this could happen, but look, I'm here today and nothing happened. So it's like saying, don't dream. Don't try to make things different. It is what it is. And so those are things that we have to be paying attention. And if we have to choose a way of being, it should be preferable to be an optimistic than a pessimist. Always thinking that tomorrow is going to be better. Tomorrow is going to be better. Oh, today was good, but tomorrow is going to be better. That's a much better way of being. Oh, my dog is dreaming here. It's making some noises. It's funny. Okay. Minds devoid of lofty thoughts, but filled with complaints and animosities that lead them to indulge in keeping an eye on others and afflict them. Become a field ripe for exploitation by spirit obsessor or spirits that are simple, ignorant of their own reality, and who subject frivolous and idle individuals to their will. Hence, the root causes of many of the ills that perplex and afflict earthly society are embedded in the waves from the spirit world, generating tremendous conflicts that could be avoided with the healthy habit of prayer, the practice of ennobling actions, and personal efforts aimed at moral transformation for the better. Just a second, please. Sorry, the dog was crying too much. I was worried. So here, again, Joanna de Angelis is talking about ourselves, and to pay attention of what kind of thoughts and behaviors we are having. because this is what is going to attract like minds. And again, once we have this understanding and understand that is exactly the opposite behavior that is going to heal us, right? Because this is not a healthy relationship, right? Having an extra mind that is only going to aggravate the negativity that already lies within ourselves. So now I don't want that. I want either to rid myself completely, and hopefully we will get there, but at least when making the effort, when resisting the impulse, we will be able to remove those entities, this kind of spirit intervention next to us. So the only way to eliminate the dark is to shed light, right? To put light in the place of it. So there are dark thoughts, dark actions, dark everything. We have to start changing with lighter and lighter thoughts, behavior, words, etc. Comments, questions? That's not easy, right? When you have to think about, oh my God, sometimes how vulnerable we are, how difficult it is for us to, although we understand that, we know, but it takes so much effort. Remember that story that I think I told you already, but I think it's pertinent for us to repeat now, about a dog that was in a corner of a place, a store, and he was like, like my my dog here today, whining and crying, and seemed to be in a very miserable condition. And then a person passing by and seeing the owner of the dog around saying, "What is happening to your dog?" And the person said, "Well, he is laying on a nail that is in a plank." And the person was, "Oh my God, and why doesn't he move?" Because it is still not hurting enough. And sometimes this is what happens to us. Things are not good. We are there crying and feeling miserable, but what we do about it? The movement still seems to be require much more effort than just coping with our current misery. And this is why it is hard, right? We are not destined for that. We are not destined to be in this kind of stage. We are destined to become light, to be happy, to be in peace. And there are neon lights showing the way, take this way. But we are still dormant somehow to all this invitation. Okay. When the health lessons, oh, go ahead, sorry.
Okay. I think it's important to say then, the same way bad spirits or low-level spirits connect to us, the good spirits and high-level spirits connect to us. It's why it's so important watch and pray, and we should know just one candle it's able to illuminate all the room. Many times we believe we need so much light or so much prayer and good behavior, and just a single prayer or one single movement in the way we want to change that situation, sometimes it's enough. It's like a small candle illuminate, then we can receive the influence of good spirits.
Yeah, it's very important to highlight this. We have to be constantly reminded that there are not only, negative spirits or spirits of our own level. Okay, they don't need to be worse than we are. Some of them are, but they can be like ourselves. Okay, and we don't have to point fingers here, but we all have still a long way to be really balanced, right? So, but it's important, this reminder, Sonia, because otherwise, like you're saying, we're just going to think, oh, there are only negative spirits around us. And the thing is, they may even be more numerous, but light always prevails against dark. So there might be 10 trying to attack us. We just need one one evolved spirit to change the atmosphere completely, because they run from light, and sometimes, like you said, this light doesn't need to be a big light. A flickering candle is enough to remove us from the dark. So that's why there is even a question on the Spirits book. I don't remember the number of the question, but it's Kardec more or less asking if we could refrain from doing evil, from living in our inferiority, and the spirits reply, yes, of course, and with very little effort. What you lack is will. So is the dog there crying, and all life, all my destiny, all my dog creator is against me, right? And we just accommodate to complaining, to what it is, and not thinking about all the blessings we receive and how much it's easy for us to actually bring good spirits to our side.
Yeah.
Because they are there. They are there. It's just a matter of us connecting us. It's like, again, like I like to think about the radio, I can move the dial one, and I go to a different station, right? I listen to a different music. I can go from heavy metal to classics, to Beethoven, right? In just one tiny click. But it's there, and it's my choice. Okay. So when the healthy lessons of the gospel of Jesus become sure guidelines and the revelations of Spiritism are absorbed, people will more easily understand that there are not actually two worlds, the spirit world and the material one, as is commonly believed, but only one world in varying degrees of manifestation. People will be more careful about their thoughts, words, and actions, because all these expressions of life and activity are mixed together in the two realms, producing resonances that are equivalent to their vibratory content. Human beings will understand that the journey in the spirit world is a natural continuation of that in the physical one. and they will be able to construct the best possible way forward for themselves in preparation for their immortal future. Due to the laws of any ethical sense by today's culture, and because of the fire of the passions of the libido in its various expressions, people's behavior has become completely materialistic, even in supposed spiritually oriented circles. The exhausting, never-ending desire for pleasures overrides the interest to build inner harmony, whatever one might be. So, as always, Joanna de Angelis presents the situation. She talks about it, she introduces it, she talks about it, she shows different ways that we can be affected by it. But then she brings us to ponder about all, and also to she brings solutions. And the solution that she gives us here, again, it touches our behavior, our choices. Why is she talking about the gospel of Jesus and revelations of spirits? Because they are the basis of ethical moral behaviors. If we are still thinking about a God that wants us to be worshiping and saying prayers, God doesn't need our prayers. We need prayers. We need the blessings. And God is not, a superstar, one of those how do they call this? Yeah, movie star or something like, oh my God, we have to, oh my God, right? No, God doesn't care about our worship. Remember that phrase from Jesus when he says, if you want to please God, leave your offer here and go reconciliate with your brothers and sisters. It's not about offering. It's not about, I prayed the rosary 3 times today, to worship God. God is God. God is, is the ultimate everything. So here it's not about it, it's about our moral behavior. It's very much like this mother-father figure that we're not going to be happy when our children bring us presents. We are happy when they are the present, in the sense of having learned how to conduct themselves, how to be responsible, how to be a good person, how to act in relation to others that may, for the moment feel or be inferior to them. This is what we want to see, that they have learned the moral values, and this is what is going to please us. Yes, of course, us being humans bring the presents too, but this is not the most important thing, right? The most important thing is what comes from their heart, what comes from their action, the lessons, the good moral lessons that we give to them. So this is what God expects from us. Oh, this is a good child, it is learning. I have been sending, tutors along the way so that they can learn from them the right way. They can learn righteousness. And this is what we are talking about here. But we are really living in very difficult times. Today, just this morning, I have to write an article, and I was thinking, I should have Instagram account for myself, in the sense that I would just check what I am doing, not what others are doing. You see, it's a private Instagram account, or a Facebook account, or a TikTok account, just to see my behavior, what I'm thinking. Just if I have time to be checking what others are doing, I'm not necessarily using time to check what I am doing. So if we have to put that on paper, let's do it. Put it on paper, your thoughts, your behaviors, your main events of the day, and make this diary where you can look and say, wow, and even see your progress, right? I think we have to pay more attention to us than to others, and what is happening outside. Not in terms of being oblivious to what is happening to people, but not just doing that, right? And so this is why Joanna de Angelis is saying it's a very difficult time, because we are being bombarded with behaviors, with comments that go against moral, and the moral that we have learned from the Gospels.
Mm.
Any comments, questions? Zoraida, you want to say something?
No, I was just thinking that there's so much to what you're saying. It's so true that a lot of people, or we all sometimes we pray to God for guidance, but what we have to be looking at is ourselves, and pray for ourselves. God doesn't need, exactly what you said, God doesn't need our prayers, but we're the ones who have to do the effort and watch ourselves, and how we're praying, and what's in your heart when you do pray, and be kind and vigilant, and all patience, and everything goes with this. Is so beautiful how Joanna de Angelis all puts it in stride. Difficult, yes, but at the end you see it. That is, we are the ones that have to do the prayers, and be vigilant, and watch what we're doing, in order to receive goodness from the spiritual world, and not be bombarded by those that are there ready to deceive us or make us unhappy. And very, very important that we see that, or else we will lose it, and we will continue going through struggles and difficulties in life. But it's just beautiful how she comes out with all this and explains, and try to make us see what is the most important thing that we have to do. And it's pray and be vigilant, watch what we're doing, and don't worry, God knows what we need, and we don't need to give him and pray for him. He's the Almighty. So it's very beautiful how you explain this, and it's necessary to understand what prayer is all about.
May I interject here, please?
Yes, Marley, just a second. Okay, go ahead, Marley.
Okay, I just wanted to tell the group that 2 weeks ago, in our final prayer, I asked if we could ask the spirits to bring peace to my neighbor who had stage 4 terminal cancer, breast cancer. And so we did. And I just want to let everyone know that that very same day, in the late afternoon, she passed. So I just wanted to share it. I know everybody prayed, and we had a good result. And I'm going to have to leave now because my neighbor needs me. I'll see you all next week. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye, Marley. Take care. Thank you for sharing with us.
Yes. Yes,
So,
I remember her that she was telling us the last time about her friend, and we prayed for her. Yes, indeed.
yeah.
Yes. No.
Mhm. And sometimes because we understand that, like Joanna de Angelis says here, we have to stop in thinking about two worlds. There are not two worlds. It's just one continuation of, one and the same. It's just like, we change garments, but it's still the same. Is still living? Is still feeling? Is it still having, the desires, the tendencies we have? Is it still continuing? Is it still acting? Is it still having choices? And so it is important for us to understand that. And sometimes when the body is giving up for whatever reason, it really may be a blessing for us to just be able to say bye to this old garment and say, I'm ready for a lighter one and a healthier one. And so I think that's what happened, and without a doubt, our thoughts and prayers always help in this sense.
Absolutely. Mhm.
So let's continue here. Every effort must be made to find the correct view of existence, to balance the instinct and to conduct the emotions rightly, since everything in the universe is connected, from the primitive atom to the archangel, who also began as an atom, just as today's atom will be an angel someday. This is an answer from the Spirit's book that we find in the Spirit's book, question 540. Spirit obsessions are therefore much more numerous than one might think, and no one is immune to being their victim if one is not watchful and active in the sphere of the good. When psychopathologies are better understood, they will reveal the presence of discarnate immortal entities, forcefully influencing those who are immersed in the physical vessel among the endogenous causes of mental and psychological diseases. So here, yeah, it's not good news, but it is in a way, because the best way to prevent something is to be alert against something. So now we know, yes, the majority of us is susceptible of being influenced by negative spirits because of what we think, because of what we decide, because of our way of living. But now we know that we have responsibility in relation to that, and we can try to change things. So in this sense, the more we understand, the more we will be able to prevent. And like Joanna de Angelis says, when we start considering that more, we will even have an advancement in terms of the medical field, especially relating to mental and psychological diseases, but also in the physiology of our bodies, because they bring energy that corrupt our cells, and it may lead to illnesses as well of the physical body, not just the mental imbalances. So it is very important for us to be aware of that. And it's like with any other illness. We try our best to prevent, to catch them, right? And with the spirit interventions, considering the negative aspect of them, we have to do the same. And there is one very powerful medicine, that is how we behave ourselves. So for many reasons then, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything else will be added, as Jesus proposed. For in the world you will only have afflictions due to the transience of physical existence per se, and the conjectures of which it is constituted. Why? Because we are doomed? No, because we are still, living in a world that is just beginning in its path of transition, so the more as a collective we start thinking about ethical moral behaviors, about the kingdom of God here is not a place. The kingdom of God is within ourselves. Is, this diamond that is here within us that we have to find. We have to use our time to make it shine, to make it come to surface. And of course, when we look at ourselves today compared to what we were in the past, we will see that we are taking steps to do that. So let us not think about how difficult everything has been, because like Sonia reminded us very well, we are not alone in this journey. And we, alongside with the difficulties, the challenges we have to face that are the result of our own behavior, we have dedicated spirit benefactors that are with us. They are taking care of us. They are here because our merciful God has brought them to us. Any questions or comments? Next week, we are going to talk about mediumship, okay? Any question, comments? No? Okay, Sonia?
I have a question about this mental disease, sometimes from birth. But we can see sometimes a person with mental disease learn how to read or speak or things like this. And most of the time, parents are close to them and love them and give this person support. On the other hand, when parents doesn't care about this child, this child, they still in the same situation. Then my question is, can I say in these both examples, then we have the presence of the prayer, using the love of parents to release some afflictions from these mental disease kids from birth? Do you understand what I'm asking?
I think so. Let me try to reply, and then you'll let me know if I got there, okay? We have to understand why this happened, okay? Since we know that we have a past, and unfortunately a not so good past in terms of actions, it comes a time that we mature, and this maturity will lead us to a new incarnation. But it will always, because we always, when we are talking about incarnation, in the majority of time, we are talking about at least 3 people involved, right? Father, mother, and the child. Not necessarily, but let's say usually, right? There is a commitment between these 3 people to actually work together for the, let's say, the erasing of this, the guilty emotions that we have from the past, even when they are not conscious. And when this happens and we come to a new incarnation, we can come, there's three people involved, and sometimes more, because brothers and sisters, okay, they will be conscious and accept the responsibility of their wrongdoings and engage in behaviors that are going to contribute to remove this guilty, etc., once and for all. And this would be what you are talking about in terms of the loving parents. So deep inside, even though from the material aspect, we may say, why did this happen to me? We are healthy people. Why did we have an impaired children, an impaired child, and this and that? Okay, but they will assume their responsibility. They will deal with all that with love and attention and support. And this is the aim of the incarnation. But there are some that will be like, like children that resist to assume their errors. Okay, I did it, but it was not necessarily all my fault. They delegate, okay. And so, although they are giving a new opportunity, they still resist in accepting that is not God's fault. That is the consequence of their actions, and they rebel. Being the child that is impaired, being the parents that are not, are going to try to hide the child, to institutionalize the child if they have the economical means to do so, and, to say, oh, unfortunately, we have nothing to do with that. We are doing the best that we can, but it's not, because the only thing that heals is love. And so if there's not love, not acceptance and understanding, there will always be progress, because in any case, it's going to be, hopefully we are going to gather something from that, but not as much as if we would accept and really try to do our best in the sense of getting advantage of the situation, understanding that it's happening not by chance. Was that what you were?
Yes, this is my question. The love can cure the mental disease from the book, and maybe not cure all diseases, but improve.
And you see, we still have a very narrow view when we look at people that are impaired, whatever the impairment means, because we may immediately say, oh, it's their karma. They are paying for what they did in the past. And as a result of this judgment, we immediately label them as not being good people, because they are paying for something. Very much like, in the past, we thought that was a pact with the demon. They would kill children like this, or all of this things, they did. And the thing is, there is a very compelling case that shows us that is not true, this way of thinking, that we can find in the book Heaven and Hell by Allan Kardec. I think it's chapter 8, when it talks about a spirit that is a child that is called Marcel, that is going through a long illness and process, and it shows the case of this boy as being, yes, there is always some rescuing from the past, but the past that can be, very back in time, but they accept all of that with so much love. We see so much acceptance that we can say they are so much better than us because they already are brave enough to own and use the situation to rid themselves from any stain they bring from the past, and teaching others that are around them. Giving the parents that were co-authors of the mistakes, so to say, also the opportunity to grow. They are holding, the greater burden, but it's still they're there to teach. And we see the case of this boy that he has tremendous pain, and he's consoling everyone else in the hospital, and I mean, it's so beautiful. And we can tell when a spirit that suffers a kind of any kind of impairment is doing that with acceptance, which the notes already shows maturity on the part of the spirit, or if it was something that it was almost like imposed so that they can move forward a little bit. So let us not judge because someone that may be in a completely impaired body may be a very luminous being.
So nice.
Okay. All right, Ale.
Hi, everyone. I just want to say something in regards to Sonia's question because I'm typing the book Full Life, and on chapter 9, I was just rewriting it when she asked the question. So the chapter 9 is affliction, and the first paragraph goes, afflictions are caused by the being's process of spiritual growth, rooted either in its past lives or current existence. I just thought it was interesting that I was typing and then she asked the question.
Fantastic, Ale. Send me the chapter soon because I will need it for another talk. Okay.
Oh, of course, I will definitely. Okay,
And
as soon as I finish, I will send
and
it.
if you could send me the Portuguese as well, just this chapter, it would be great as well. I don't know if you have a way of doing
I
it.
don't have it. No, I only have it in English.
Okay,
I'll send.
I'll find a way. I'll find a way.